Yeah, hi. Thank you. I apologize for being a little late. Just looking forward to the rest of the season, and the conference obviously has been a very good uh, slate, top to bottom. All teams are very even, so it's a tough league, and we're excited to continue this journey on trying to get to our ultimate goal against some very very good teams coming up.
Thank you very much, Coach. As a reminder to our members of the media, star one to get in the queue. Our first questions come from Whitney Hayworth. Whitney, please go ahead.
Coach, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks so much for joining us today. Just as you mentioned, obviously, game in and game out in the Sun Belt Conference, you never know who's going to win, and you've gotten a couple big wins against Georgia State and Troy, and then there are other games where you've had to overcome some double-digit deficits to get those wins included. So what does that say about, not a little bit more, not only about the league, but also specifically about your team and the way that you guys can fight back and claw your way back to victory?
Well, first, I'd like to say I wish I had the formula and answer for the double-digit deficits and coming back. It's giving me a little bit of a lot of stress. One thing I'll say about this team is they're very resilient. I think it started off early in the year when we're able to win some big games on the road against Colorado State and Tulsa. They've built some confidence in there. We've got a great group, very, very unselfish group of young men that all they care about is the end result. So I think that helps as well. And I just think sticking to the plan, I think we haven't veered at all in my 3 years here from how we prepare and how we, approach opponents as far as game day and before. We just continue to stick with the process, and I think they believe in it, and like I said earlier, this is one of the hardest leagues top to bottom I've ever been a part of. Look at Troy. They were picked 12th. I think that's crazy, and again, that's because they lost some players, but they're an excellent basketball team. They got a great coach. So you can see the games that you're going in, night out in this league. Anybody can take a lead on any other team at any point in the game. I think our guys just believe that they can win it. And they've stayed under control and stayed, with the process. And I'm proud of their resilience. That's a word I always use when describing this group, because whether they're up or down, they always want to do things the right way. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But for the most part, we're happy with the success in those games we've been down and been able to come back.
One player that clearly has bought in and has that resiliency would be Marquise Eaton, who's your all's leading scorer at this time. Just what have you seen from him, and how have you seen him grow throughout the past couple of years?
Marquise lately has been obviously playing more consistent in his third year with me. Year one was an adjustment process. Year two was up and down because we had, obviously, Ty for us was the main scorer on our team last year. This year, one thing he's done is really taken the time away from what we require him to do to improve his game. I think this is the year that he's done the most work on his own, getting in the gym, at times when it's not required to improve his game, and he's watching a lot more film. He's really taking a liking to trying to break down games as far as from watching them from a coaching perspective. And his teammates have been great. If you look, he is our leading scorer, but I think he's only like at 11.5 or 9 or whatever it is. So he was a state player of the year in high school and only averaged about 13 points a game. So his game has never been one where he's scoring 25 a night, but he's capable of doing that. And this has been his best 4-game stretch since he's been a Red Wolf. And we hope that he continues to play as consistent as he's doing. But he's consistently putting in the work. So I'm hoping that he reaps the benefits from that.
And off the court, obviously this week is Coaches versus Cancer Week, bringing awareness to cancer with the American Cancer Society. I know that it hits home to most anybody, especially some of your assistant coaches. So can you speak a little bit more to that and just what it means to have Arkansas State and the Sun Belt Conference participating in this initiative?
Well, first, I think it's a great thing that we do nationally as far as through all the basketball coaches in Division I and even lower levels. I think that's something that's it's an ongoing process to build awareness of research and how we can help those with cancer and find a cure. it's really hit home with us here. Number one, starting with our assistant coaches. My assistant coach, Mike Scutero, his wife is a breast cancer survivor. She was getting chemo treatment over the last 2 years, and right now, God willing, she stays in remission. Then we have a player, Jerry Johnson, whose father passed away of cancer a year and a half ago, and I know it's a very serious thing for him, and it's something that we want to take into, obviously, celebrate his life, but also the research for cancer. And then I have another assistant coach, Rick Cabrera, whose father I know extremely well. We're both high school coaches back in Miami. He was just diagnosed with stage 2 pancreatic cancer. We're actually honoring him at our game with shirts. The guys will wear the shirts for warm-ups, and the families will be wearing shirts in his honor. It says "Fight Like a Cabrera," and I'm very close with his dad, so it hits home there. And then obviously the one that's nationally known is Coach Anderson and his wife Wendy, who we're very, very close with, and I'm very close with Blake, and I know it was a hard thing for him to deal with, and we all lived it with him. So this is something that is special. It hits home extremely close, and it's something we want to honor all those people. And not only the ones that we know personally, but obviously the ones that we don't know, that we can continue to help raise awareness for a cure.